Hello and welcome. I'm Master Lama Rasaji, and this is our Tuesday edition for Rasaji Speaks. Wanted to thank for all the nice messages and the nice prayers. And Lamaji is doing fine and will be vertical before you know it. Should be getting home today from the hospital. Everything looks pretty good from what they're telling me. So. Can't keep a llama down, that's for sure. Got work to be done. Lot, almost 30 more years of the Portal of Shiva. So gotta do whatever that it takes to keep this llama and keep this body going. So anyhow, again, thank you for all your love and your kindness and your sweet messages. Today we're going to talk about free will versus ego. Free will versus ego. It's an interesting thing. As you know, angels are not supposed to have free will. Now, a lot of people don't know this, but there are a small group of angels that actually do. And those are the angels that communicate in a capacity. You might call them like a double archangel. In the Bible, one of them is referred to as the angel of the Lord. In other words, they're counseling avatars, right? For the most part, to earn that privilege, well, it's about like a human being earning the privilege to one day go from the spiritual family into an avatar. Now, we have some of our people that are being schooled for that. We'll see how all that goes because it does have a lot to do with keeping ego in its place. Some say that we're given free will only to give it back to God willingly. Well, that's probably closer to the correct alignment than anything, right? But for most humans, that is a tricky thing because trust, devotion is all wrapped up and involved. It is extremely difficult for people that have been raised in the G10 countries or quote unquote civilization, right? In other words, if you're raised in America and in Canada and in Europe, I mean, even people who stumble into the New Age movement that's been going on well since the 60s, right? And that's where a lot of Indian different gurus were coming over and establishing different spiritual teachings. And as the Americans got in it, they said, well, what is the need for a guru and a master? You can do this all by yourself. And that happens, you need to know, at every level of development in spirituality. That in itself is an ego trip and an ego challenge, right? Think about it. Westerners, especially, have been designed to have their independence, especially in America. This is true. We're raised up out on our own between 16 and 24, a little later today. And we're taught, to come into adulthood and, be a man, be a woman, be a self-starter and go out there and do it. Well, when you're raised that way, and then you come across one day your spiritual path, and you realize that your spiritual path is a lot about self-surrender, buddy, howdy, that is a powerful thing. And that the Judean Christian influence here in those G10 countries is incredible. And almost to the fact that if you do come, you have to come to the clergy and that they are mediators between you and God. A true guru, a true master of the East, never has adapted that mindset, right? Never. Never has adopted that mindset. And if anybody had come close to that, it would probably be Mahatma Gandhi. Yeah, Mahatma Gandhi. It's kind of like a split between a spiritual leader and someone like the personality of the guy sitting behind me, an Abraham Lincoln, right? We all have our place in society. We all have our place in creation itself. What are we going to do as we evolve spiritually? One of the most profound things about training at the Circle of Chi and training through the system of Tai Chi Gung, if you do it on a regular basis, you're going to develop awareness. You're going to develop spiritual power. You're going to develop focus over a period of time. But sometimes it gets people just to that certain tier where, let's say that ego's on one side and self-surrender, and they get about here. And in that last moment of really truly meaning that it's Abba's will be done as opposed to our will be done, a lot of times that's where the people fall short and not realizing a lot of it is their conditional upbringing of their household with their family, whether they were religious or not religious, how orthodoxy the religion was or not, and the fact that here they are now. And what are they going to do about ego when they're at this stage, right? When you get to the point that you're so consciously working with the divine moment to moment to moment to the next moment, everything begins to change. Your attachment to wanting to have your way really changes. If you're going to make that spiritual jump, take anything that you've been given in your column exercise and think of how it would influence 50 plus people. Am I to do what my column exercise is saying or not? Is this of God or is this of ego, what I'm writing down? One of the most basic ways to put that in double check, would it benefit all 50 of those people? If you were to take that action that you're looking at your column exercise to take, would it benefit you? And would it even benefit more those other 50 people? See, that's a way to really check in on spirit. Because if the answer is yes, it's more than a 99% chance that is of spirit. And once you understand that's how you're working, you learn to keep ego at bay. You bring it in when your personality that's been developed for 50 years plus now needs to be used. But we're never to make a God out of this personality. And a lot of times that's where we fall short. That's where we sin. And that is, we take the outside and try to turn it inside. Knowing Tai Chi Gung is an inside game. You see, that's where a lot of people fall short. And remember, all that really means is it's an ego thing. And when you're able to let go of that consciously and let go and let God and have true bhakti devotion in your heart, self-surrender to God's realization and to the God consciousness. Buddy, howdy. It doesn't get any better than that. As we say in the Far East, Baraka Bashai. Don't forget, early birds coming off in the next week. So don't forget about Asheville, and don't forget about the hotel room. It's several $100s saving if you're knowing you're wanting to come to Asheville. It's going to be incredible. I can tell you that. God bless you. And we'll see you tomorrow on Hump Day. And again, thank you for your love and prayers. God bless.